when I deal with builders and trades, they inevitably fall into one of these 4 categories, right? And the first one is what I call job owner, right? Job owners are basically the business, right? They're sitting there, they're doing all this stuff themselves. And if they don't turn up for work, there is no business, essentially, right? By the way, most builders and trades have been in, like start at the job owner, like start at that stage. Most people start at that stage. So that's okay, right? What you need to be able to get out of to move up from this is what I call leverage, right? And the concept of leverage, who here understands the concept of leverage? Give me a, yeah, probably, okay, I'm going to explain it then. So a really simple explanation of leverage is buying a house, right? Most people, let's say you're buying $1 million house. Most people can't afford to spend $1 million on a house up front these days, right? Fair? So what you're leveraging is you're basically save a deposit and you're leveraging that through finance from a bank, more than likely, or some sort of lending institution. And that's the leverage piece. So for most people, property is a leveraged investment, right? You can do the same thing in shares. You can do the same thing in your business. And if you think about how you would introduce leverage in your business, what are a couple of things that come to mind quickly?
Staff,
team, 100%, right?
Delegation.
I call them, yeah, sorry, go.
Delegation.
Yep. So you were still talking about the team? Yeah, so
Yep.
100%, right? I prefer to call them team rather than staff because I want to be on the same team. I don't want them talking up to me. Cool. All right. Next level is what I call opportunity owner. And that's where you've got a little bit of leverage. So maybe you start to get some team members. And generally the first team members to come into a building and trades business is like an apprentice and an admin person, right? So maybe you're starting to get some sort of introduce some sort of leverage into the business. But the business is still absolutely reliant on you, right? Again, you don't turn up and there is no business still in that opportunity owner category. And what you need, in my opinion at least, is a solid vision and a plan to push out to the next level. And the next level is what I would call business owner. Okay. Probably going a bit too fast there, but at business owner level, you're actually starting to run a business that can begin to operate without you. You might be able to take a few days off here and there. You've actually got some basic things in place. Maybe you starting to think about your org charts and your just some basic thing, and starting to build that team around you who can actually start to give you some independence. But the ultimate level in my mind is this one here, which I call asset owner. Okay. And becoming an asset owner is where you can actually build a business, which is so there's kind of two ways to think about this. Firstly, building a business at that level is about building a business that's a series of assets. So we were talking about people before, right? The people in your business are an asset to the business, right? There might be specific products and services that you do that become an asset to your business. If you think about it, you build out a marketing, let's say a marketing funnel or something like that, that becomes an asset to the business. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Yep. Then we've got questions on this, because this asset thing, I want to make sure we kind of get that message across. No question? That's cool. So when you're building a business as now, so let me give you an example. I've got a client I'm working with at the moment and been working with this guy for years. And right now we're in the process of building out our sales team. Okay. And so that sales team is going to do two things. Firstly, the sales team becomes an asset to the business. It becomes one of the big assets to the business that actually generates profit, right? And secondly, by building it out that way, the business itself also becomes a sellable asset. Cool. Now, one of the things, as soon as I deliver this model, one of the things I hear often is, but Terence, I don't want to sell my business. Right? Anyone feel a bit that way? No? Oh, you guys are all ready to sell. I love it. Okay. So, and there's a great quote from a mentor I had years and years ago. Actually, when I was in the process, going through the process of selling a business, right? And he said, Terence, the business that you can sell is also the business that you'd want to keep. So building a business in this way has benefits if you sell a business and if you keep the business, right? And there's nothing to say that if you build the business as an asset that you have to sell it. Make sense? Let's keep going. So below the line relies heavily, so job owner, opportunity owner rely heavily on personal exertion, okay? So it's just you turning up, doing the work. Above the line, you start to introduce what I would call business power. In other words, you can start to rely on the power of the business driving things forward, the power of other people in the business driving things forward for you. Okay, you'll know when you start to get that feeling, because it's a completely different feeling, right? Okay, I kind of did what I'm hoping is a slightly better explanation of the type of person. So at the job owner level, we start off as a technician. We move up to a manager. In other words, we start managing some people. Generally, like I said, it's going to be an admin person and an apprentice to begin with, and then you might get other people in place later on. This is what I'll call a business operator at this level. And then as you go up, what's really interesting is that you start to develop, or the business requires you to develop different levels of skills, okay? And for anyone who's been around me for a little while, probably looking at you, Corey, right? You'll have actually heard me talk about this stuff. It's like, to get to the next level, you're actually going to need to start just, it's all about becoming a better leader for your team. So once you get to a certain level, you have to become a better leader. And at that top level, you end up being the investor in the business. Now, return on investment, where are we? Bottom level, income. As you move above the line, income plus profit. As you move to the top, income plus profit plus wealth creation. And the whole point, in my mind, of building a business is to create wealth. Right? Who agrees with that, by the way? Is that the point of you building a business? Yep, cool.